Hey everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Tournament Talk. We are looking at tournament rosters for all of the teams that were spoiled in the Blood Bowl 2020 rulebook. Today we are going to be looking at Lizardmen. So Lizardmen are a tier 1 team, and I think they've pretty much stayed tier 1. We're going to look at some rosters at 1.1 million and 1.2 million. We're not sure what the most common tournament build is going to be for the next season, but if you've got those two options, you can add a little or take a little away to kind of suit you. What we're trying to do is put together some of our favourite lists or some of the more interesting lists to give you an idea of what it is you can take and also what it is you may face at a tournament. We will look at skills as well. Every tournament does its skill tree very differently, so we're going to pick out some of the key ones so that no matter how many skills you're allowed to take, you've got an idea of what will work best for your team. So, to the lists. And first up, we've got the classic 1100. So this is absolutely bang on 1100k. And it gives you absolutely everything you'll need to succeed as a Lizardman coach. So, first things first, these guys are tier 1. Tier 1 teams tend not to get doubles. They tend not to get double access to skills very often. So we've prioritized 3 rerolls in most of these builds for Lizardmen because it's really important. They have no integral skills when it comes to ball handling. They've got dodge, which is good, and they've got strength, which is good. So there is consistency there, but taking 3 rerolls will really unlock your Lizardmen team. And in a competitive environment, going without can get you extra stuff, but it is your choice. And the great thing is that the rerolls here are 70k, so you can afford a Chameleon Skink or a Skink or a reroll or an Apothecary. It's interchangeable, so if you want to drop to 2 rerolls and just go with 2 rerolls, or if your tournament actually allows doubles, you can add an extra player. I recommend 1 Chameleon Skink. Anyway, classic 1100, 1 Croxagore, 6 Saurus, 4 Skinks. That gives you 11 players. That gives you 7 players with strength 4 plus. Croxagore has got to be one of the top big guys in the game. Movement 6, strength 5, and prehensile tail means that it's great to move around or if it gets stuck in place. One thing to mention is it used to be able to take break tackle to unlock its agility. That's not the case anymore. This big guy is agility 5 plus, which means that it will dodge with a +2 with break tackle, which means it's only dodging away on a 3 plus, not the old school 1 plus. So remember that break tackle not so good anymore for Croxagores, and even worse for Saurus. So skills wise, the Croxagore, if you only got a single, brawl or guard will really help no matter which way you go. So the Croxagore is a huge and massively survivable piece, being strength 5 and armor 10 plus. So guard will unlock your other player's potential. So putting guard next to another Saurus, for example, takes the Saurus to strength 5, which can really cause some damage. If you want the Croxagore to be doing the smashing, you can use Brawl, or Brawler, I think is the skill it's actually called, which allows you to reroll 1 both down result when you make a block. Don't have to roll loner or anything like that. So that is a really useful skill, and I think we're going to see that quite regularly on big guys. It depends if you want your Crocs to be a support Crocs, guard. If you want it to kill stuff, Brawler. And if you get a double, hey, not bad to float block on that strength 5 monster. Talking of monsters, you got 6 Saurus as well. Break tackle got worse for these guys. They're only agility 5 plus, so break tackle just makes them dodging on a 4, which is not really worth it. Any combination of block and guard on these Saurus, it does sound boring, but quite frankly, having an army of strength 4 guys with block or guard to just maintain that strength consistency, a 50-50 split, 2 guard, 2 block, it's gonna be carnage. The Skinks themselves, I wouldn't worry too much about skills. The 3 rerolls here, they're not going to be used for dodging. They're going to be used for blocking to save you when something goes wrong, and they're going to be used to handle the ball. So sure hands isn't really worthwhile in a tournament environment for a Skink, because you're better off just burning 1 or 2 of your team rerolls to pick up the ball each half and focus your skills on never needing rerolls in the first place. If you do have spare skills and you do want to make your Skinks a little bit spicier, then you can go for Sure Feet, which essentially takes the little things from movement 8 to movement 10. Movement 10, stunty dodge 3+ everywhere is an insane amount of speed. It's a very fast team anyway. That is a really solid starting place for tournaments with Lizardmen. It's different from League because you get to upgrade everything immediately. Now let's bump it up to 1200. So the option 1200, you get 1 Croxagore, 6 Saurus, 3 Skinks. I have upgraded a Skink here to Chameleon Skink because on the ball helps you on offense. It gives you 3 free squares. And this dude's got passing 3+, which can be really useful for stretch plays. With this build, you can afford 3 rerolls and an apothecary. It only comes in at 1160, and because of the pricing, it's a bit awkward. There are other things you can do, so if you are in an environment where you can put leader on a skink, you can afford to drop that reroll and pick up another skink. I really do like the chameleon here. It's 1 less movement. It's got shadowing that you'll never use, but on the ball basically gives you a movement 10 skink when you receive the kick. And that is going to help with your offense. The other cool thing is it does have pass 3+, so if you are intending to do some passing, which I wouldn't recommend, but it is good fun, you can always chuck catch on one of your skinks with is a normal skill, and you should have access to some normal skills. I would be hard pressed to argue that it is more beneficial than putting block or guard on a Saurus, but it might be more fun. And we got some star players for the Lizardmen team here. So you got a couple of options. Some of the old guys have gone, but you do have access to some really great kind of mid-range stars. We've got Carla Von Kill, who comes in at 210k, but she is interchangeable with the Mighty Zug at 220. Let's have a look at what you have to pay to take these on your team. So the idea here is that you drop the Croxagore, and you have to drop your 3rd reroll. So if you're in a tournament where you allowed a single double, you will be fine because you can chuck it on a skink, give it leader, you've got your 3rd reroll, absolutely quids in, you'll be fine. The other option is that you can downgrade 2 Sauruses to Saurii, which will give you enough spare cash. I think you have to drop both Sauruses. Yeah, both Sauruses, and you can pick up that 3rd reroll to make your team go. But then you're running 4 Saurus, 6 Skink, 1 Chameleon Skinks, and Carla Von Kill. The advantage to this is that Carla is a movement 6, strength 4, 3+ blodger who comes with Dauntless as well. So she's kind of like a 1-person army when it comes to smashing stuff. If you get that leader reroll, or you're just feeling saucy and you're going to risk it with 2 rerolls, you can end up with 7 strength 4 players, one of whom is a great ball carrier. In that environment, all you've done is upgrade your big guy to a star player. That could be a really successful way to win games. On the flip side, if you take Zug, which will boost this up to 180, your Croxagore loses Bonehead, gains block, loses a bit of movement, a bit of prehensile tail, but if you've got that leader reroll to keep you at 3, your Croxagore technically just got better. You've unlocked that block skill. It's a really interesting dynamic. The difficult situation here is that the Lizardmen team is just really great at 1100, really great at 1200 because it just becomes more resilient. Doesn't actually need any star players to make it do anything better. Has no star players that are going to massively unlock it. So you're just kind of taking a different tact here, where do I have a leader reroll, or will my team be okay with 2 rerolls, and do I want to upgrade my Croxagore to Carla Von Kill / Zug? If you do, absolutely go for it. You can also take the White Dwarf as well to give random players Mighty Blow, which could be really good to kind of farm Mighty Blow off to your block guard Sauruses. However, I don't think he's better than a Croxagore, whereas Carla does do way more stuff than a Croxagore, and Mighty Zug is just kind of more reliable. I don't think you're going to see them very often because the Croxagore is such a great star and the Lizardmen team works together so well, but it is definitely something to be aware of. So one thing the Lizardmen team is lacking, that it really genuinely does not need, is a throw teammate option. So just for completeness' sake, we'll talk very quickly about the Grat Goes South build. 5 Saurus, 5 Skink, 1 Chameleon, 2 rerolls, so you really have to kind of find a way to get that leader reroll in there. But what it does do is it gives you a 13-player roster, You've still got 6 strength 4 or 5 pieces. You've still got your strength 5 guy with Mighty Blow in Grak. Bonehead is exactly the same. Loner is exactly the same. But you get a halfling just spotted to you, another stunty player with sure hands. So it's a different build, and again, like we just talked about the stars, I don't think it is a better one, but it's always fun to have something different. This is probably one of the Grak lists I don't think we'll ever see. If there was a way to take Grak, Grumbleberry and the Croxagore, or just all 6 Saurus, then maybe, because actually upgrading Croxagore to Grak and Crumbleberry is pretty sweet. But you don't quite have enough cash to do it, so it's here for completeness' sake, and it would be great to see at a tournament, but I don't think the Lizardmen needs it. I don't think the Lizardmen team needs it at all. They've got Skinks. Skinks have got plenty of speed. They've got Saurus and Croxagores. They've got plenty of strength. So I think it's fun to see, and it's fun to brew, but I don't think it is necessary to do. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up Lizardmen tournament rosters. They're kind of lacking in variety, which has been one thing that's been very sad about Lizards. The Chameleon Skink at least makes it so that you've got an option there for a different player. Can't quite squeak it in at 1100 unless you've got a loner reroll, a leader reroll, or you're willing to take down to 2 or lose a Saurus. I don't think that trade-off is worthwhile. But on the way to 1200 though, 1150, one Chameleon Skink in there on the ball just to help you with half a turn of offense is just going to make it even more of a powerhouse. So Lizardmen are still going to perform very, very, very well. And who knows, we might see some more stars unlocked. I missed Drool and Dribble. I thought they were cool, the 2 Skink star players. That would be wicked, because in that place you could do like a mega Skink list. You can do a Skink list with Zolcath the Zote and Croxagore. I just don't think it's optimal at all, and I know that you guys can brew up crazy lists all of yourself. Let me know what you think of the rosters, and I will see you again soon with another tournament roster.